Welcome to the first airing of the Icebox podcast. I'm your host, Tosa. I'm joined with my co-host, Pib. Want to say hi?
Previous.
So today, so this is a brand new podcast that's going to be focused mainly on politics and comedy. We'll also be
I
giving a
thought he
lot
said come.
of come. See, we're already off to a great fucking start. So today, like, we're gonna be doing things like we're gonna do segments very specific to this podcast, like culinary adventures, because I can cook and Pip can't. Um,
I can cook snake meat and MREs.
that's the difference between you and me. I can't cook either of those, but I can cook like anything. We're definitely gonna be talking about a lot of political topics, and some will be very serious, and others will be comical to say the least. Satire.
Cooking with the ATF.
Yeah, the cooking with the ATF. That's fucked, bro. I think you're still a better cook than the ATF though. So culinary adventures. So we talk constantly, and the last thing that I heard that you were cooking was ramen.
No. I also, with the assistance of Alice, my fiance, made like bacon something that was like a more advanced bacon. And,
Okay.
with her supervision, I surprisingly did not bomb the food or start a house fire.
Well, that's always good, right?
Yep, I am up to, in my 4 years of living in America, my fourth stove.
That's scarily impressive. Like I have no words for that, bro.
To be fair, the one, whenever we moved into this house, was just old.
Okay.
Looked, and the seller was like, no, look, we've got the insurance card. The thing was from like the 1950s, so that thing got replaced.
Dude, those are the best stoves though. I gotta ask though. I know you're from Texas, so it's technically like part of the South, technically, right? I know a lot
Yeah.
of Texans would actually punch me over that. But like, do you save your bacon grease?
What?
Do
No,
no?
no,
That shit's like liquid gold to Southerners. They use it like on
no,
like their eggs and everything, stuff like that.
no, I don't save it, but I know that 'cause I've got a friend. Every time I'm cooking bacon, he's like, oh, you mind if I take the grease? And it's like, what? And I've seen this fucker pour it into an empty water bottle and drink it.
Yep.
He recently called me, he's like, my cholesterol is really high. He's like, I think it's stress. And it's like, oh, it's drinking grease.
Let's see. I haven't cooked anything recently, actually, so I can't really even diss on you. You've cooked more than I have recently. I haven't been cooking recently. I've mostly just been on like salads and stuff recently because I've been trying to lose weight.
I've been doing the opposite of trying to gain weight.
You're trying to gain weight. I'm trying to lose weight. Yeah, no, because I'm not like because my job, I build grills for a living now. I don't work at like for anybody who listened to our last podcast. I was working at a grocery store, and now I'm a vendor for like Home Depot and Lowe's. So I build I'm an assembly vendor, so I build things like grills, patio sets, stuff like that. So I'm lifting and like moving back and forth throughout the day. So like I don't really even need to go to the gym that much, or even like I should probably go out for runs because cardio is important. But you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. And,
Yeah.
you do something similar, but I, a gunsmith, so I assemble and fix guns, which had someone like a week ago now bring me an AK they broke.
How the fuck do you do that shit?
By filling it up with that, I don't know if y'all got it in Colorado, but red clay, huh?
Red clay. Yeah. We
So
have
he
a lot of
stuffed it
brown
with
clay in
that
Colorado.
as a
There's a
culture test,
what the fuck?
and he let it dry in there.
Oh, okay. That's where you fucked up. I mean, filling your AK in general with clay is fucked up, but like letting it dry, that's yeah, no, like we have a lot of clay in Colorado, so once that shit dries, it doesn't come off.
Oh, yeah. I'll also have a scary fucking demon horse.
You really hate blue.
Yes, I fucking really do.
I can't really blame you. In all defense, I can't blame you. It's
Everyone I know from Russia that landed there hates it so much that whenever shit hits the fan, I'm just gonna steal a tank and drag that tank down like they did to the Saddam statue.
dude, I wouldn't even blame you. You want to know the funniest part is most people in Colorado don't know why we have it either. Like we
I,
sit there and we go, like you know what the Denver Broncos are. I know that you're not a big football guy, but you know who the Denver Broncos are.
yeah, it's fucking like the Ford truck, I'm gonna guess.
No, it's our football team. So here, let me because you have Discord, let me send you
Oh, I would love it if their mascot was just a Ford Bronco, a GMC,
oh
whoever the fuck made that.
I'd laugh my fucking ass off. But this is the idea on why it might be like that. Like I actually don't know why it is that, but this is kind of the idea. Because if you don't know, football is huge in Colorado. But this is and the original icon actually looks like the horse. Here,
Really?
yeah, here.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I'll send you the original Denver Bronco icon. All right. This is back in
Okay.
68. All right. There you go.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. I still don't know why it had to be a creepy fucking. I
Devil
don't know why
horse.
they added the red eyes.
Yeah, nobody knows why. Dude, nobody knows why it's blue. Nobody knows why it's blue and has demonic eyes.
Well, you see, the red, oh, the fucking red, the blue can make sense because y'all's fucking mountains are blue.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, purple mountains.
Yeah, and
Okay. Well, they're blue now because of all the fucking pine beetle kill. But that was years ago though. But no, fucking. Do you want to know the weirdest thing? So like we're straying far off topic at this point, but like you want to know the weirdest thing? So DIA had like an estimate like something like $1 billion make, right? It was either it was either like 100 million or something or like 2 billion, or it was some obscene amount of number, right? Like it had a budget for that, right? But they went like several million off budget and recorded it really awfully. Like all those conspiracies behind DIA.
yeah, like it's a doomsday bunker, shit like that.
Yeah, no, like if you think about like all events throughout American history and stuff like that, like where Obama was when like people like when they were threatening to drop nukes on the United States and everything, he was at DIA, things like that. It's really weird. And plus the even crazier thing for me being from Colorado, right? DIA is always under construction.
Yeah. Well, what we'll probably add to your worry. Hold on, let me check real quick. I've got a list of shit I checked out if I can talk about it and what I fucking can.
Oh, great.
Okay, so yes, I can. So the Russian government, since it's an international airport, they can do whatever the fuck they want, really. But the Russian government, like at least once a year, sends a shit ton of Russian soldiers there to be like, oh, look, they're on layover. And really, they're just told, yeah, walk around and take notes on anything suspicious. And it's a primary bombing site.
Oh, yeah, no.
If we ever fucking go to war, Russia and the US, the Russian government's like, yeah,
We're
nuke the
bombing
shit
DIA.
out of that airport.
Yeah, yep. No, see, like you want to know what's even weirder? Like it's theorized that the real Constitution and the real Declaration of Independence are actually in a bunker somewhere in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an actual theory. There's a lot of crazy theories behind Colorado. It's really weird. Like you'd be amazed on how many weird ass theories there are in Colorado. I know that there are like 7 missile silos in Wyoming, which is like 4-hour drive from Colorado.
Oh yeah, you see, that's where I lived before I moved to Texas or
Yeah.
Casper.
Oh, you lived in Casper. I've been there before.
Yeah.
I've been to Cheyenne. I've been to Casper.
Yeah, we landed in Denver. We stayed with a friend of mine that had moved to the US like a year before in Casper.
Okay.
And to be fair, the people there were kind of assholes. So I was like, fuck it, I'm moving to Texas.
It's because Wyoming just isn't very welcoming to people.
I mean, to be fair, you think they would be. I mean, they probably got more buffalo than humans.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Wyoming is that one state where they don't want anybody coming to it because they don't want it to end up like Colorado.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, you know what happened with Colorado, right? We legalized weed and like everybody from all different states moved around, and that was like a lot of bring in from California because it was before California legalized recreational marijuana. So like a bunch of people from like Cali brought their politics to Colorado.
I still think we should just trade California for Taiwan.
I'd be okay with that.
Hey, hey, China, yeah, we want Taiwan. We'll give you fucking,
Cali.
yeah. And we'll throw in New York as a bonus. Come on.
Give them Governor Cum Dump.
Yeah, I mean, be like, look, we keep the 9/11 monument. Y'all get everything else.
God. No, we don't keep the 9/11 monument. We all know that was fake. Um jeez. All right, let's see here. So, like to start our podcast, kind of wanted to get into differences of politics. So, anybody who's listened to my former podcasts, actually, for starters, let's get started out with like a background because anybody who listens to Pip doesn't actually know that he's Russian most of the time. So, you want to give a little bit of background history about yourself?
I was born in Russia, and then we moved to the US. My accent comes mainly because my area in Russia, had a shit ton of Americans that moved there for some fucking reason. And it's from when I was little, I was a dumb shit. Wasn't wearing a helmet and slammed into our house's concrete wall and knocked out my 4 front teeth.
Oh shit.
So I actually learned to talk without pushing my tongue up against my teeth.
Oh, okay.
So that's where my accent comes from. And certain words of more European accent actually does come through, such as Puma.
Okay.
But it's mainly just because I got used to covering my accent because I got fucking tired of and other dumb fucking jokes. But that's pretty much the long and short of it.
You fucking risky.
Yeah. And it was because when I used to drink, I got tired of because of my accent. Oh, you want vodka? It's like, no, I fucking don't want that nasty shit.
I want whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey and bourbon.
Man's drink.
Yeah.
Well, so that's a little bit of background behind him for anybody who was wondering. But in our first episode, one of the things we listed that we wanted to get done was our differences in politics. I know that we're both very similar in a lot of things, but we also differ in some things. We respect each other equally, though.
It's funny because, when I lived in Russia, I was actually a super big utilitarian of, the government should own everything.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
a
after
statist.
and then like watching you can only watch so many of your friends fucking die before you're like, the government really sucks.
It seems to be like that seems to be a thing that you just see in like most veterans. Like not all, but a lot of veterans. Like either they become like really like constitutionally conservative, which is what I met you as. And then or they become, like what you are now, fucking minarchist libertarian or just like libertarian anarchist.
Well, you see, here's my evolution. So when I was young, I was like, the Russian government's fucking awesome, They've never lied to us about anything. Then again, people died. My sister coming out as gay was another thing. I'm like, okay, the Russian government's fucking stupid. And when I got here, I thought maybe the American government will be different. They see, and then, I'm like, oh, wait, no, the American government also kills children. Well, fuck me, I guess.
Shit. So anybody who doesn't know, I'm very heavily anarchist. Actually, I used to be ANCAP, but now I'm just I'm not trad anarchist, but like traditional anarchist. I am just an anarchist because I got some left anarchist leanings, and then I got I got a lot more right, but like I can't call myself like I'm just free market anarchist. That's the easiest way to put it. Anybody can do whatever they want for trade. You
No, you
want
see, that's the way I view it. I think, if you're not hurting anyone, fucking do whatever you want.
yeah, yeah. So like I think that things like free market anarchism is pretty good. And like when people initially listen to anarchism, you know, they think, oh god, chaos, but like actually I think the most chaotic thing to like our views is like us just executing pedophiles.
Yeah, and I can agree. I won't lie. I was one of those people back in Russia when people like, oh, anarchists, like, are you fucking stupid? No rules, this, that. And then I'm like, well, I mean, if there's no rules, you just can fucking. The same people who stop you from getting murdered are the same people who are stopping you from murdering a child molester.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you think about it, like because I'm very Darwinist, like the weak will just kill off, like
Yeah, and
unless of course somebody keeps them alive. And that's not me being cruel to the populace or anything. That's just, you remove a founding structure like government and you no longer have those boundaries to have, like, you don't allow things like psychotic people who kill people. No, you make examples of them.
yeah.
And you don't have people who won't contribute or make an effort. Why? Because they'll starve and they'll die.
That's the thing that as someone from Russia where we learned the evils of communism, communism being the one government body that if I'm told, oh, I support this, you instantly get put on the fuck you list.
Yeah.
But it's, a lot of people like, well, communism's great. I won't have to walk and we'll get fed. And then, you look at the Soviet Union and it's like, oh, yeah, you're not walking. Oh, because you broke your legs in the mine. Well, you're going to die. Sorry.
Dude, that wasn't even like the worst part to it either. I think my favorite thing to like the people who support communism, a lot of them are people who like support sex work, right?
Yeah.
Like they support and personally, I have nothing against things like prostitution or anything like that because I think that it enables people to do it off of free will instead of making a black market for it. Because
See, I agree to an extent. I think if it's done, it should be done, like Australia with some safety stuff to be like, look, if you've got an STD, you should have to tell them before
oh
you
yeah,
fuck them. Yeah, look, I've got hepatitis, just an FYI.
oh yeah, no, I believe that too, but that's more moralistically speaking. If I'm speaking from an anarchist point of view, because I don't think this should be taxed.
Oh no, I'm
To
not
have,
saying tax it. I'm just
well, I
saying like
mean,
this should
even
be a
well, regulating it requires a government, right? Now, of
fair.
course, like say like you're in a certain region and anarchism, because anarchism doesn't require a government. Perhaps it requires more like moral, restrictions, right? Which isn't a government. That's just how the community works, right?
Yeah.
Because the community provides for itself in its own way. So moral restrictions, you're a prostitute, you have to, you know, tell someone you have STDs before you give them AIDS, things like that. I think that's fine. But moving on from that, but I think my favorite thing is like a lot of sex workers, they like communists, right? Because they're just like, I'll be able to do my own work and nobody like, and I'll contribute to my own behalf. I don't actually have to go and work in the factories or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I think my favorite part to all that, like, because they claim themselves to be, either like Marx stands or like communists or anything like that. But Karl Marx actually called them degenerates and like said that they shouldn't be allowed in any society.
You see, I think who gets me is I think you've said it before, on Twitter or somewhere that everyone thinks that they're going to be, the philosopher of just, oh, I'll just come up with the ideas. It's like, no, you're not going to walk, and then they're going to shoot you, and you're going to be dead.
I
That's could be
probably
how
said
that
that
walks.
once or twice.
But I think funnier is, there's a lot of people that are in the gay community that are like, oh, I love communism. And it's like, oh, yeah, that went fucking swell in the Soviet Union.
See, like I have nothing wrong with like libertarian left communism because that's usually communes, right? So like small groups of people who work together for the greater good and just share.
Yeah, see,
Like
I
if,
can
if that
understand it if
works
it's
for you,
voluntary.
but like once it's like authoritarian communism, that changes completely.
See,
Like
I can agree with that. Like, if the next town over wanted to say, we're communists, just don't live here if you don't like it, whatever. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. and we'll do trade. Like, what's funny is that most of the time, like lib lefts, because I used to have some friends on my old Twitter account before I got nuked that were lib left, and they were just like, yeah, and we would love to trade with people who are capitalist because we can trade. It doesn't require us to use fiat, or it doesn't require us to have to share anything with them because they don't want to share with us. But if we're trading goods for other goods, that's okay.
Yeah. And see, I can agree with that because fuck, I do that. We had
Oh
a
yeah.
leak in the roof from a windstorm. And so I called the guy who does roofing locally. I'm like, hey, look, I know you've got that old AR-15. I'll give you these attachments and I'll fix up the firing pin if you fix my roof. And he goes, yeah, deal. And, we
Oh
fucking
yeah.
traded services.
See, fucking shit like that works perfectly. And that's the one thing that always makes me laugh because authoritarian, like, and oh, the big one that makes me laugh: authoritarian communism will have free healthcare, or authoritarian socialism will have free healthcare.
Yeah, See, to me, it can walk in a small dose of, like you said, a small community where the local doctor says, look, I'll take care of you. But once you get to a gov, there's too much logistics because then you've got to
Oh yeah,
have the company that's making the drugs or equipment make it for free. You've got to have the truck drivers bring it. And eventually
for
someone's going to say,
free.
this is fucking stupid. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. No, I mean, not even just that, but like, like when you look at like local communes, it's just like, oh, you grow my fruits and vegetables. Of course, I'm going to fix you up.
Yeah. And
Like
see,
in like a local commune that works for like lib left, and even large size communes that works because it goes, oh, you contribute to this part because that is what you do. That's what you do. It's doesn't worry about this, that, or the other thing. You're just the doctor. And this is it's how anarcho lib like left lib works. Communes, small societies that all work together for one main goal, which is each other's pursuit of happiness, which I'm completely fine with. But once you hit authoritarianism, then you look at the government and it's not going to happen. They're just going to tax you and use that money to buy vodka. Um,
yeah, there's another thing I think is funny too. So many people who support communism, like, oh, there's no such thing as look at the Soviet Union, or look at North Korea, where everyone's miserable and starving except for the leader.
that's not real communism. I'm
To be fair,
sorry.
this look, I'm just going to use him as an example because fuck it, he's a funny, fat bowling pin of a man.
Kim Jong Un.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's who I remember in Russia, he was like, we can fight and win a war with Russia. It's like, yeah, okay.
Tough words for such a small man.
Yeah, speaking of, man, so on the political note, the current American president and my old president, Putin, got into an argument. And I remember it was on the Russian news. It was funny as shit. Because, I forget what it was about, but Biden goes, yeah, well, we've got
Wasn't
this,
it
this, and
about the elections, like Russia rigging the United States elections?
no, it was something relatively small. It wasn't any of that. But
Oh,
Biden's
okay.
basically like, look, we've got this, and this in our military. And Putin goes, yes, and we have stairs leading to the Kremlin. Good luck.
No way, he did not.
Yes. And I'm, well, and one thing that's funny. So in Russia, my culture, being taller is seen as like oh, I don't want to fuck with you.
Yeah,
Putin is actually my size. He's only 5'7".
I know. Putin's a small man.
Yeah, but
He's
I
not
mean,
small, but he's definitely small height wise.
oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know. I mean, I guess you've seen some insider pictures of his peen, but I never have.
No, wow. I meant like small via his status.
Yeah, I
You're
know
a
what you mean.
dick. You're a dick. First dick
But yeah,
joke.
see, going back to what you said, it walks for smaller communities, but that's anything.
Yeah,
So I'd say it's structured like a military. Like if someone in my team is injured, I'm gonna care a lot more than if it's someone that I've never fucking met. If that
yeah.
dude dies, is it sad? Yeah, but I have no fucking personal connection.
Yeah, no, I can agree. Definitely, I could 100% agree. It's funny. We started out with the differences in politics, and we went directly to, like, chasing down communism and its flaws. Um, actually, where we went was communism, where it succeeds and where it fails. But let's see here. Yeah, fuck. You know what? For the fucking dick joke you used towards me, at least I have 20/20 vision.
Hey, at least I've got, I guess, 20 vision. I've got good vision in one eye.
I don't think I even have 20/20 vision. I think I'm like an 18. I think I'm an 18/20 and a 19/20.
Yeah, but you know what I can do? I can talk wherever the fuck I want to.
Hey, at least I don't get pulled over for not being able to see.
Oh God, I remember that jackass. So for anyone that doesn't know, I don't hate all cops. I see it as any other job. There's good and there's bad.
That is
So
our
I
difference in
remember, were
politics.
we on the phone or did I just message y'all? Because I remember I
You
got pulled
messaged
over.
me. I think that you
Yeah,
talked
so
about. I think you talked about it briefly in the podcast that you featured in when I was doing the Swiss cheese podcast. I think you
that's
talked about it
right.
briefly before we started recording. But like, other than that, go ahead, tell the story.
Yeah, so I was driving my sister. We were coming back from one of her doctor's appointments. She's like, "Oh, I'm hungry." I'm like, "Oh, stop by fucking McDonald's and get you some fries," because she doesn't eat meat. But back to the story. So I pull out and get pulled over by a cop. I'm like, "It's probably a routine stop, whatever." Cop's like, "Oh yeah, you're wearing something that's obstructing your vision," because I wear an eye patch. I'm like, "No, I just don't have an eye." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Well, I can understand that." And he was professional about it after that. But like most people, the next question I got asked is, "Oh, so you can't see out of it?" It's like, well, yeah, that's what happens whenever you're missing a fucking eye.
Did he do it to you a second time too?
Yeah, he did it recently where he pulled me. This time there was a lot quicker. He pulled me over, recognized it was me. I was in a different vehicle, and he's like, "Okay, I remember you," and just waved me off. And it's like, okay, well, I've kind of got a distinctive face, I figured. But then again, my windshields are fucking tinted as much as Texas will allow. So whatever.
Yeah, as they say, third time's the charm. After the third time, he won't do it to you no more.
After the third time, maybe. Which I think it's funny because I've got a cop friend, and he told me straight up, he's like, "Yeah," he's like, I don't really like how strict police are being. He's like, "So I literally joined to do stuff like that," and he's got a mailing list, and he'll just tell you, "Yeah, on this highway, the cop's gonna be here for a speed trap."
Really? Oh, he's the one that
Yeah,
tells you that stuff. Okay, okay.
yeah. So he'll tell me like, "Hey, by this store in this town, there's gonna be a cop set up here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks."
So that's actually a difference in politics because I don't like any cops. And I have reasoning behind that. I don't think that they're bad people necessarily because I know that there are people, it's like the military. There are people who literally join to do the right thing, right?
Yeah,
And there's also people who join to kill people. And it
yeah.
like I'm not saying that every cop's a bad person. We'll actually just move on to our next thing off this because that was a perfect entrance to what we wanted to get to next, which was law enforcement views.
Yeah.
So I don't think that like all cops are bad people. Like I think that some genuinely join to do a good thing. I don't like any cops though.
Yeah, you
And
don't like the idea of the cop of enforcing laws,
yeah, I don't
but
like the idea
people
of the
do
cop.
them.
Well, the primary like some of the people I've been pulled over by some cops that are very good people. All right,
Yeah,
like there was a point in time where I got pulled over. My car should have been towed. He looked at me. He just told me, "Get your registration, get some insurance. When you get paid next, because I was very poor at the time. When you get paid next, just get that stuff, and it's okay. I'm not gonna fucking tow your car today. Like yes, there are good people out there, but I don't like police like whenever you see me say ACAB, right? The original meaning behind ACAB was not to actually call old cops bastards. It was to say that the system was shit. And that's the reason
yeah.
why I believe it. Because cops are going to enforce that shit system. Does that mean that they'll always enforce it? about 99% of the time. And that's why I don't like old cops. It's not because I think that they're shit human beings. I think that there are some very good human beings who are cops, especially local cops. Most of the time, they just join for the position, you know. But like, I don't think that all cops are shit people. I do think that the fact that you're in that position makes you a dog of the government. And since I hate the government, it means I don't like you, you know?
So how does that compare to your thoughts on the military?
The
Like, where's
military,
the line?
well, actually, the thing with the military is actually I don't like people who stay there. I understand the reason why they do stay there. Does that make sense? Because like
Mhm.
it's like police. It's very very hard to talk out about this stuff with like when you're in there. It's very hard to talk out against this without having your career ruined, and that's a
Yeah.
fact. You know, it's very hard as a cop to talk out about against corruption, talk out against things that cops are doing wrong and all that without losing your fucking career. You know, and losing your life being because that's a threatening thing in times now. But like a lot of the issue with the military is that you get kind of tricked into this shit when you're a kid. Like if you think about it. And the same for cops, you get told as a kid when you're a kid that, oh, whenever you're in trouble, you can always go to a cop. Cops are very trustworthy and very safe people.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if I was getting shot at by 5 MGs, I'd assume it was the cop. If I was getting shot at by 5 people, I'd assume it was a cop. But like in the same with the military, they tell you that it's very honorable, it's a very big thing. When you're a kid, you don't really understand like where our political views are anti-government. We don't really understand how actually evil the government is, right?
Oh yeah, and I can say,
Most
yeah, in Russia. Now, one, Russia's got conscription. There's a lot of
yeah.
ways out of it, but for the most part, you're solving it. Now, I'll say this: the year isn't that bad. If you get conscripted, they give you some training, and you pretty much sit on your ass in or around the base and do nothing. You might
Yeah.
load up ammo. But at the same time, Russia's got a history of, oh, you're a conscript? Yeah, well, running that machine gun till they don't have ammo to kill at the people we like.
Yeah, no. But like with like the American government, like because I know you weren't born and raised here, but you can probably tell from being here because you've been here what 3 4 years now.
4 years and like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, because you left the Russian military and then you moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Well, I was discharged after I lost my eye in the
yeah, you lost your eye and also didn't you fuck up your knee?
Yeah, I fucked up my knee and my hip and a rib, I think, maybe two. And then they're like, yeah, look, you can recover, here's some time off. Because I planned on making a career out of it till we at least had money.
Yeah.
And then I lost my eye, and the Russian government was like, oh, well, our toy's broken. See you later.
So with the American government, like I don't know if you've seen prior to the recent army ads. I'm sure you've seen those horrible fucking ads. Um,
I
like
have two moms, and so I joined the military. Whoop-de-doo.
I'm gay, so I joined the CIA. Well, sounds about right.
I'm gay, so I joined the Navy. My poop deck gets covered in semen.
um, but no, like a lot of like kids when we're brought up in the United States, a lot of times we're told that military is very honorable. It's something that young men should definitely look into pursuing. There's huge leadership values, and there's like you're doing the right thing. You're gonna fight terrorists, and really you're shooting brown kids in the Middle East.
If you ask me, joining the military is basically the male version of fuck it, I guess I'll be a
The
stripper.
stripper, yep. Um, and what's funny is that, like, ironically enough, I also wanted to join the military when I was like 17. Due to medical issues, they wouldn't let me. All right,
I'll go for
but
the Russian military as long as you're not totally brain dead or a liability. They'll be like, yeah, we'll
see, that's the
use
problem.
you.
That's the problem. I am a liability in the military. My jaw is a bone from
Oh,
my
that's
leg.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. like technically militia wise, they'd still like if I was to join the militia, they'd be like happy to have you on. If you get fucked up, that sucks.
To
But
be
like
fair, the Russian military would probably be like, "Oh wait, if your jaw fucks up, you just won't eat." Well, yeah, sure. I mean, more food for the others. Let's go.
um but like that's the thing though, like the American military is made out to be this like big honorable like leadership empowering thing, and like a lot of and recruiters will lie their ass off to you. They'll be like free college, free money, well, not free money, but what I mean, like good money, free housing, you get to tour the world, you get to see this, that, and the other thing. And like, I don't know if you ever listened to the Biting the Bullet podcast, but all of them are just like, well, they weren't wrong, but at the same time, it's absolute horseshit.
You know what my fucking recruiter told me when I was signing up? He's like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Call another young one signing up." He goes, "Well, you're gonna get PTSD, a wheelchair, or a box, maybe two of them."
At least your recruiter was honest. Most
Yeah,
rec-
and when I was
most
younger, I was like, "Oh,
American
no way can I get that." So, and then out, I'm like, "Well, I'm fucked up in the head." Well, whatever. Guess he was honest.
See, American recruiters aren't. They don't tell you about like things like PTSD, the fact that you can get like hazed really hard, the fact that you'll be outside sweeping rain, things like that. Like they don't tell you about like the abuse in the military or the mental issues that you can get from the military. Like they
Yeah,
don't, they just tell you that like it's full of guts and glory, and every fucking 17-year-old hyped up on testosterone is just like, fuck yeah, where do I sign? So like I honestly, the most I hate out of the military is probably recruiters. Um like I do hate high-ranking generals who sit on their asses and just say, well, just strafe here.
That's like
Doesn't
the
matter.
Russian government recently replaced a general, and they're like, productivity has gone up, and it turns out the last one was like 97, 98. Like he was sleeping 18 hours a day. It's like, what the fuck was he doing like the rest of the six, shitting himself? And
That's
it's
funny as
funny because
fuck.
during his closing interview, they're like, "How does it feel to finally be retired?" And the fucker just fell asleep talking, and it's like, wow, that's great.
Oh, that's fucking priceless. But like I
Uh,
don't hate military personnel. A lot of them come out with similar views to mine because they realize that the system's just there. It's a really shit system. It's a horrible system. Like all the guts and glory that they told you that you're gonna have doesn't actually exist. You're literally just killing Pakistani university students.
or Chechens and Ukrainians in my case.
Yeah, no, but you kind of see where I'm coming from. Like,
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
military, you're definitely more tricked into doing instead of being a cop. Like a cop
Yeah.
is like one of those things, like, don't get me wrong, they're both very voluntary, but like a cop, like, especially my area, right? You have to have a bachelor's degree to become a cop in my area. Like
Wow, that's
specifically where I am, you have to have like, and generally speaking, they prefer like it to be like a bachelor's degree in like, well, like some kind of law enforcement like related title,
yeah.
like which is kind of cool. So like I actually would say that the cops in my area are a little bit better. It just saying because like as I've been ticketed and everything before. I've had tickets dropped from me before, stuff like that. It's not that bad.
Hey, you keep an eye on the time. I remember you said
Oh no
this.
no no no. So Anchor is the one with the limit,
Oh, okay,
not Zoom.
good.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
making
We're
sure.
good.
But yeah,
Um,
see, I can understand that, and a lot of my friends share my views of. We went in and it was like, "Oh, we're gonna do a thing for the government," and then we're like, "Wow, this
wait, it's the
that
government.
fucking sucks." Yeah, which I think
you
something
know.
that doesn't get enough attention either is y'all's fucking video games.
Oh,
Well, like look at fucking say Call of Duty and Battlefield being the bigger ones. It shows, yeah, cool, you get to be a special forces soldier and you're a hero. And in real life, most of the military is like, oh yeah, well, you see that pile of dirt outside? Yeah, it's a sand dune. Yeah, go sweep it. Fuck off.
yeah. Dude, did you see recently? There was a video. It was on TikTok, right?
Yeah,
This is an actual thing that they're starting to install in military barracks, where after a certain amount of weight, the shower curtain will fall so that soldiers will stop hanging themselves.
Jesus. I mean,
Yeah,
that
like
makes
the
sense.
bar that holds up the shower curtain, like the way that the thing that holds it in place is designed is that it can hold up like a shower curtain, but after like fucking like 10 pounds of weight or something like that, it just drops out.
Well, I mean, you see, that's something that always pissed me off about most governments. They send you to fucking kill and watch your friends die. And then whenever you come back fucked up and you're like, hey, can I get some mental help? They're like, yeah,
Eat shit.
$20,000 and maybe we'll help.
Yeah, right. No, that's another big thing, and we can definitely discuss that on a different podcast. Like one, maybe next one or the one after, but like mental health given to from the government after like almost intentionally, because at this point they're just killing people over oil.
Yeah.
Like the mental health that goes to the soldiers is like 0 to none, and a lot like I know that it's not like 22 a day in technicality, like that comes from a lot of other things as well. But like a lot of soldiers do kill themselves, and that's pretty fucked.
Speaking of protecting for oil, in Russia, there was a someone at one of our supermarkets in town made like life-size cardboard cutouts of U.S. soldiers and put them on the cooking oil aisle.
That dude, Russia's a wild place from what you've told me.
Dude, Russia is a place. Well, let's put it like this. If you ever go, I hope I'm with you because you will not survive Russian roads. If you've seen the dash cams, Russia is pretty much Mad Max land.
Yeah, I've seen that. Dude, I've seen a dash cam where a tank pulled up off the side of the road and just drove
Have you
across
seen
the
the
road.
YouTube video of just the peaceful beach and a nuclear fucking Oscar II submarine surfaces? And they're just, and then they chase the civilians away. They're like, this is classified. You can't look at it. And it's like, why do you fucking.
Why'd you pull up on a beach? What the fuck? Oh, jeez. All right. So, like, yeah, my law enforcement views, like, back to the topic because we keep straying away. So, like, my law enforcement views are like, I don't hate like every cop. Like, I think that a lot of them are actually scummy people because like it's kind of a point where it's in between like they're very scummy people and like they're just stuck there,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like I get it, some like a lot of people value their lives a lot differently than I do, so like when you're sitting there and it's just like, should I speak out against this, and but if I do speak out against this, will I get 6 rounds in the back of my head?
I can say similar to that, we had a guy that always would talk shit about the Russian government. And then at one point, they're like, oh, yeah, he died, friendly fire accident. And it's like, oh, well,
Damn.
okay, then that's fucking worrying.
Yeah, see, like I have to like sympathize with them some. Like I don't like the fact that if you're a cop, I don't like you because you're working for a tyrannical government, and because of how you have to work for the government, that means that you're probably going to enforce tyrannical laws, things like,
Yeah.
for example, my big one that I bring up towards people who absolutely lick boots, because I know that you're nowhere near like a blue line guy, all right. I know that
Yeah.
you're not, like, but people who absolutely lick boots, so the guys who are gonna wave that Punisher, who are gonna have that Punisher like flag with a thin blue line through it. um,
Well, see, here's the thing.
like
I
people who,
support that as much as I support anything. Like,
oh
I don't
yeah, I
think
know that
anyone
too.
should die other than, pedophiles.
Oh
So,
yeah, no, I can agree with that. Pedophiles and rapists deserve to die for sure. I think government officials need to die, and but I'm not gonna go out and I'm not gonna go out and cap a cop.
yeah.
But my big issue with like people who like wave the thin blue line and things like that is that these people don't seem to realize, like, a lot of people who wave the thin blue line are people who are also just like, well, I'm not gonna listen to my government.
You know what I love? Seeing the people, my neighbor's one of them, that on his flagpole right now, if I wasn't being lazy, I'd send you a picture. He's got the come and take it flag right above the,
A
thin
thin
blue
blue
line.
line
And it's
flag.
like, wow,
Ah.
okay, that's
Well,
excellent. And he told
you
me,
know who is gonna come and take it? That thin blue line.
yeah, I mean,
That, that's that,
other
that's that's the reality to it. Is that who is gonna come and take it? The thin blue line. You know.
I've got another cop. I don't know how I feel about him, but he's at least honest. He's told us straight up because I asked him, like, you gonna enforce, gun confiscation? He goes, depends. He goes, are the people who want to keep their guns or the government paying me more? He goes, because I can easily take locations of where the other cops are. I'm like, geez, well, you're kind of a piece of shit for that, but at least you're honest, I guess.
I mean, at least he's honest. That doesn't make him any less of a piece of shit, though.
Oh, exactly. And
Um,
not I have to say that because what kind of person are you? We just straight up say, yeah, I have no morals, but money. It's like, yeah, well, if the government's gone, what the fuck is your money gonna do?
you're killing the people who are paying you. That's the bigger irony. You're killing the people who are going to pay you. Um, cops get paid through our taxes.
I'd love to know what, George Washington would think. What they overthrew for like what a 2% tax, and now it's like 15%.
He'd probably be disappointed. Not saying that he wasn't his own little tyrant, things like the whiskey tax laws and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, no, 2% tax, and they fucking rebelled against the British government, and now it's like 15% tax, and we sit there and we go, it's okay as long as people don't get health care, you know?
Well, I think the British government, speaking of government, is the funniest thing ever because they went from the big superpower, we'll kick everybody's ass to, oh no, the drunk Irishmen have a car.
No, they went from we'll kick everybody's ass to oh no, the drunk Irishman made another mean song about me.
Either that or even better. Oh no, the Prince fucking Harriet Tubman or whatever his name is left for America.
Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was a slave that did the Underground Railroad and fucking the Civil War, bro.
Well, you know what? Close enough to whatever the prince's name is, I bet.
Bro, no. Oh fuck. No, this
Wait,
I
is Harriet
always
Tubman the lady on the maple syrup bottle?
no, that's Aunt Jemima. God, you're a retard.
I'm not American, so sorry that my history is not fucking up to snuff.
Here, I'll send you her wiki. All right. We could
Who,
take
Aunt Jemima or fucking
yeah.
Harriet Tubman?
Harriet Tubman. There, just like read the first paragraph on the page and you'll understand who Harriet Tubman is, okay?
Okay, let's see. Harriet Tubman was the prince of the British Empire.
No, it was you bastard. Harriet Tubman. I think that's Prince Harry. The one that you're talking about, the one that lives in the US, right? Yeah, Prince Harry's the one that lives in the US, like sold all of his guns and stuff like a big pussy. Okay, can you rejoin the call? For sure. Well, we're gonna take a small break. All right. And we're back after a small amount of technical difficulty. We are back.
Not all
So
Russians are good enough to hack the election. Some of us can't even figure out a Zoom meeting.
so we've gotten established who Harriet Tubman was. And So Harriet Tubman is not a prince for any of you that don't know that. For any of you Russian listeners. Um oh shit.
You know what? If I ever win the lottery now, I'm gonna contact Prince Henry and be like, "How much money to change your name to Harriet Tubman?"
Just so you can prove me wrong for one podcast.
Yes, just it can be 40 years from now, and I'll still be like, "Look, his name is Harriet Tubman
Oh,
now."
it's funny because I'm gonna have to like adjust my gain later on because I don't think that half of my mic is picking up when I laugh. I'm sure you've heard me laugh some already, right? But like
Yeah.
I'm like I just looked at Zoom while I was laughing. I'm just like, oh, it's not picking up all the times I laugh, which is okay because I'm obnoxious when I laugh.
Oh,
But
trust me, dude. If you hear my real laugh, you'll see why my friends used to say I sound like a fucking hyena. So
dude, at least you're not what's his name? He goes by Wild Dog on Twitter now. You know what I'm talking about. The guy I met you
yeah,
through, right? I've been in calls with him before, and that dude literally laughs like a fucking hyena. Like, have you ever seen what is it, The Lion King?
yeah. That's the only Disney character I can associate, I can
Yeah,
identify with is fucking Ed
yeah,
because he's
no,
just
yeah, fucking Wild Dog literally sounds like Ed when he laughs. Like, no joke. Like, you could like overgo Ed's laugh with his laugh, and it sounds exactly the same.
I don't know why, but fucking Simba voiced by Harriet Tubman.
What is wrong with you? Oh shit. Shit, man, you got me on a different level. Um, all right. So I think I don't know how long we've been going at it. It's okay if this is a long first podcast. Fuck anybody who has bitches about this. Yeah, you hear me, Lost Boy. If you ever hear listen to this shit, I don't fucking care how long we go. Um, do we want to get to nature conservation, or do you think that's gonna be too long?
It's up to you.
We
I'm
can
not
work a little
doing
bit on
anything
nature.
all day except
Me
for
either. I'm awful there.
same thing. But yeah, I think nature conservation is important because it's not the fucking animals' fault the world's as fucked up as it is.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. And that's even outside of a government aspect from like an anarchist point of view, right? So like
Yeah,
remove that. I still think that like nature should be like respected and preserved.
yeah, I can understand that. To me, it's just kind of fucked up to be like, oh, hey, there's sea turtle. Yeah, fuck your home. Have some trash bags.
If the US military took 2% of its spending every year, we would have cleaner oceans.
Really?
I'm pretty that's an assumption, but like think about it. Like the US government spends trillions and trillions in like technology advancement, occupation and payroll, right?
Yeah.
It spends like 3.4 trillion or something a year. How we even make that back, I don't know, but that's beyond the point. Spends
Got to
like
kill a lot of brown people.
I guess it spends like 1.2 to 3.4 trillion if I'm correct. My numbers could be off. I'm not looking up anything right now, so anybody has a shit issue with this, then fuck you.
Like
Uh
how you look up Harriet Tubman, but not how much the Navy spends.
we call the Prince of fucking Britain Harriet Tubman at this point. It doesn't even matter. You should know that we're not educated at this point. But we spend massive amounts in spending a year. But I would assume if we took like 2 to 5% of that just to use our ships to run through the ocean and clean up the ocean, like that alone would make a gigantic difference, you know? Because we were
Yeah.
talking about this the other day. Like, think about the massiveness of the warships and how we could like we could still keep them as warships, but if we repurpose them just for like ocean cleaning, the like for like
Yeah.
say a month or 2 months, like the difference that would make.
Speaking on that subject, imagine how bad fucking World War II was to the oceans.
God, that was so. Dude, imagine how many subs are down there.
Oh yeah, so little bit of fucked up thing, but you ever read that there was this German submarine? Now this is similar to the Russian sub that did it. But so it fucking sank. They kept trying to radio, and the German government knew they were there, but basically Hitler goes, "Yeah, it's not worth the resources at the moment. They're gonna die anyways. Oh well."
Have you ever watched? I know that you're kind of an anime guy. Obviously, your fucking profile pic on fucking Twitter is anime. But have you ever watched Black Lagoon?
Yes, I actually have. That is like the first, I guess, American anime I've seen.
It's a Japanese anime, but
Well, it was in English, so
oh, okay, so okay,
plus with
but
how many guns there are, it's American.
oh,
I
for
mean,
fuck's sake, tell that to Trigun. But like you remember the episode with it's the German submarine?
yeah, where they fucking all shoot each other.
Yeah, pretty much. They either shoot themselves or like they just suffocate and everything like that. Can you imagine how shit that'd be?
Yeah, I've got to agree with the description of it. Yeah, you just run out of air and that's fucking it. Trust me, I've seen people get choked to death. That's pretty much what they do. They stop struggling and then they go limp. The only difference is if you're being strangled, you can try to fight off who's doing it. If you're in a sealed room,
You're pretty fucked.
yeah, I mean, well, we're all gonna die at some point.
Well, yeah, I know.
I'm just lucky enough to be part of a religion that's like, oh, you died. Doesn't matter how, whatever. Good job.
I'm lucky enough to be part of a religion where it says you died. Well, there's two circumstances in which you fall under. Um, and that's overstating it. Of course, there's more circumstances of where I can go when I die, but like I pretty much got two options when I die.
As a Christian, I've got one: just die and go to heaven. That's it. That's all.
You're avoiding hell.
Yeah, I'm fucking Protestant, so I don't even have purgatory to worry about. Basically, as a Baptist, I'm playing the game on easy mode.
Yeah, your sister's playing it on hard. Um,
No, she's playing it on medium as a Catholic. You're playing it on hard, as in, oh yeah, the limited window.
you're Southern Baptist. You're playing it on hard.
You Southern Baptist, you're playing it on. Oh, what's that? Touched your dick? Hell. Looked at a naked woman? Hell.
Oh, fucking hell.
Got an erection? Hell.
Did you know that in like the past 10 years, like not to diss on your sister because she's Catholic, but did you know in like the past 10 years, the Catholic Church has spent like 3.4 billion on lawsuits towards like, like for their ministers and stuff?
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that
I'm not
insane?
gonna lie. When she was like, "No, I'm gonna stay Catholic," I was surprised as shit because I'm like, "Oh, okay." I figured you'd be the one quicker to switch than me, but you do you.
They look at her, hell, and she goes, looks at them and goes, no, just gay.
No, just get. I won't lie. She made me laugh my ass off because she, I love her to death. So I hate when she's sad, and she goes, I hate it when people say that because I'm gay, I'm gonna go to hell. She goes, they're ignoring all the other valid reasons I might be going to hell.
I'm deaf. Hell.
I'm deaf. Can't hear the word of God. Hell. Basically, the Catholic Church is like Leonidas, but instead of getting kicked in a hole, you just getting kicked in hell.
No, you get
Oh,
kicked
you
into.
wiped your ass and got a boner? Hell.
That's why it's medium mode because women don't always go to hell. Um, Uh, oh, shit. Back to nature conservation. So I thought, personally, because we're gonna get into this in other episodes for sure, but I think
Oh
that a
yeah.
lot of nature conservation can come out of energy, like how we power source.
Oh, I think nuclear is the only fucking way.
Yeah, you and I have had to talk about this. I think nuclear and geothermal.
I find nuclear funny because so many people want to point out, oh well, what about Chernobyl? It's like, yeah, Chernobyl is stupid as shit. Where they're like, oh, let's test if it can handle an overload. Oh well, it can't. Well,
Is that what the
oops.
Russian? I honest to God think the Russian government like just did that to see exactly what would happen when the nuclear power reactor goes down.
It would not surprise me. And so
And
I know you
that's
take some interest in mythology too. So have you ever read of the Black Boat of Chernobyl?
no.
So the American story of Mothman, huh?
Yes.
Basically, it said, and there's a recording. If it's real or not is up to your discretion. But so one thing they did is they poured sand and cement in the reactor to try and stop the flow of the smoke.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the
Well,
reasons why
in one
the
of the helicopters, I forget if it was the hind or the hip. I think it was the hind, but
sure.
they were reporting a giant winged animal circling around it so bad that they actually brought a gunship because that was now when America and Russia weren't getting along, and they
Yeah.
thought, "Fuck, it's the Americans bombing it, whatever." And they scrambled jets and everything, and they apparently followed it a good distance,
Okay.
and then it just fucking disappeared.
Dude, that's
But
weird.
basically, the black boat of Chernobyl is supposed to be a giant raven-like animal.
Huh.
It is like basically the Russian Mothman, which stuff like that, I think, is very well with all that radiation. Because, radiation fucking, even if it's not spread out, something could have been staying close to that thing and gotten mutated somehow, I'm sure.
It'd be very interesting to hear, like, to wonder if it was like mutated that quickly, because radiation mutation is very interesting. Usually,
Oh, well, I mean,
forms in
like,
genetics, from my understanding.
that was Russian, so there's no telling where they were dumping that shit. They could have just been
That's
fucking.
fair. That's fucking fair.
So, they could have been having that shit dumped since the plant was made and something got in it.
I think my favorite argument against nuclear is like, where are we going to dump the radiation? Well, nowadays you can just reburn it.
Yeah. And,
You
I think it's funny that the people point out the two big tragedies, Chernobyl and Fukushima. And it's like, yeah, well,
well, Fukushima was on a fucking coast.
oh, yeah. And, now to be fair, I think there are some places, like you said, geothermal is the only way. Like, you're not going to put fucking nuclear in California. That
Ye-
is the fucking stupidest idea ever, I think, with how many fault
yeah.
lines there are.
Oh yeah, no, that would be the well. That's the thing with like Fukushima. Like, I don't know why they were using nuclear like right there in Fukushima. And the biggest thing is people call it like Fukushima an absolute tragedy. Yes, it has affected a lot since. But if you actually think about Fukushima, it only melted only one of the cores of what the five reactors melted down.
I think it
It was
was
only like
two.
two. Okay, yeah, but it was like, but mind you, in every core, it wasn't like the full core though. It was like because in every core it makes up of like five cylinders or something like that, and only like two of those cylinders broke
Yeah, and to
out of
me,
all five
nuclear is just
reactors.
clean. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's excessively clean.
and everything else has, conditions. Another thing I think is very reliable, but it's too, what's the word I'm looking for? Circumstantial is fucking hydroelectric, and that's
Oh,
so much fucking
hydroelectric
upkeep.
is amazing,
Yeah, but you
but it
gotta have a
has
big ass fucking river. If
I mean,
you're,
look at the Hoover Dam for example. the
oh
up
yeah,
the upkeep they do on it. The mind you though, it's been working since the 1920s and it powers almost all of Nevada. So It powers, I believe it powers 93% of the Vegas strip. It's like 80 to 93% of the Vegas strip alone.
Yep, I loaned that from Fallout.
Yeah, no. Fucking I didn't even learn that from Fallout. I learned that from like an actual statistics page. It like powers 80 to 93% of the Vegas strip, which is insane.
Yeah, and fucking New Vegas fucking New Vegas, fucking Vegas uses so much electricity.
Oh god, yes. Like it's just so clean. It's so good, so clean. It's great, you know? Like you were saying, it's very circumstantial. Like I think the three power sources that would be the best would be hydroelectric, geothermal, and nuclear. And I think that that alone could clean up the world. Not this fucking Green New Deal bullshit where we're moving everything to electric, you know?
Or fucking solar, because solar powered fucking can it walk? Yeah, but if
Well,
one of your
there
fucking things breaks, good luck,
it's
dumbass.
it's not
Pay another
recycle.
10.
Yeah, it's not recyclable either. There's like one company that has patented a recyclable solar panel, if I'm correct, and it's not even like out there yet. It's just been like invented and patented. If that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, better than a friend of mine who's real liberal, whatever. He's like, hey, it's easy to make, solar more friendly. He's like, we just have to make it biodegradable. I'm like, oh, yay. So whenever it rains, fuck you, no electricity.
Or here's another one, like wind.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about wind. So my old best friend, we're not friends anymore, but that's beyond the point. Well, we are friends, but long story. Uh, so he worked on wind turbines, right?
Yeah.
None of that shit's recyclable. Like, yeah, you could, but the energy and cost that takes in to recycle those is obscenely high.
Not to mention, I know you, like me, care a lot about, especially animals. Those things are fucking bow death
Horrible,
traps.
horrible for fucking nature. They are absolutely horrible. Like, don't get me wrong, geothermal has its downsides. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to dig in the earth and make these big things, but like animals can grow around it. That's the thing, you know. Animals can continue around geothermal, you know.
So, fun fact, a buddy of mine in Austin, he lived pretty close to those wind turbines. And he told me, he's like, dude, because he was an engineer and he was thinking of walking. He was like, dude, I can't do it. I'm like, what's up? He's like, there were so many fucking cats that live around these because there's just piles of dead birds for them to eat.
God, dude, a big thing too, like fucking, you know, a big thing with conservation. It's a little bit weird, and it's definitely more of a me thing, right? I don't know
Yeah.
if you've looked at all at Japan, but there are a lot of areas in Japan, and not like places like Tokyo, Fukuoka, Kyoto, right? The like big cities. I will actually say for Nagasaki, this is the opposite, right? But forestation in cities. So like, have you ever been to Oregon?
Hold up, man. Come on, girl. No, I have not. I've looked at it,
So
but
when you get out of Oregon airport, when you get out
go,
of
go.
the main airport in Oregon, right? Can't
Yeah.
remember what it's called. Fucking there's like forestation all over the structure. There's just like vines and leaves and everything running all up around the structure. Now, for me, that's very aesthetic. And in a lot of areas of Japan, especially more rural areas, you see the same thing. You either see like no forestation on structures, but you see a lot of forestation around structures, you know,
Yeah.
or you see like buildings where there is like forestation like along parts of the building that's like it's controlled forestation in short, you know.
Yeah, see, I think that would look good, and plus, it's not us fucking. I find it funny whenever people, because my big thing on the environment is I don't give a shit about people, to be honest. As far as what about we made the mess, it's whatever. But I feel bad for the animals, and I fucking find it interesting how people don't learn where it's like, oh yeah, well we're pushing into the land all these big aggressive animals live in, and they're attacking people. It's like, well, I fucking wonder why.
Ah, maybe you didn't think this through enough. But no, like fucking in Japan, like you have like a bunch of like areas where there's just forestation, whether it be upkeep or not on the structure, there's still a lot on it. And I've been in areas in Japan like that. And I'm not dissing on Japan at all. If anything, I'm praising them. Like because if you think about it, humans create a lot of carbon dioxide. Plants eat that shit up, you know?
Oh yeah. Another thing for me is that can add fucking it. It helps in more than one way because let's look at it like this: if you're making a house and you make it underneath a shit ton of trees, you have to use less power to cool your house
Yeah.
because you're in the fucking shade of the trees, and
And
that means the trees are better because you're using less electricity, so on and so on.
yeah.
That's one reason I've always lived in a small town, and that might be another reason we've got pretty differing views on, especially police, is because I live in a
Yeah.
town where, like, my town's got 300 people. I fucking know everyone here.
Yeah.
So the cop, everyone knows him, and so he's not suspicious of anyone because he can say, "Oh yeah, that's that fucking pirate gunsmith."
Pirate guns. Dude, you should change your name on Twitter to the Pirate Gunsmith.
The pirate gunsmith. Yeah.
That'd be
I've already decided, man. If I ever own my own gun shop, I'm calling it Cyclops Arms.
please. I will work with you. I will literally change whatever job I'm at to work with you at that gun shop.
You'd be one of the false people I call. But yeah, man, that's my thing. And I've been to never been to Japan. We've been looking at going, but yeah,
Dude,
they've
it's
got some.
gorgeous.
All right, so if you don't mind me asking, what did you go there for? Like, there's something we can talk with.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll move off of nature conservation and we'll like actually we can go to some personal stuff for ending.
So, like, where have you traveled to? Where was your favorite place?
I've been to Japan separate in two separate occasions for about the amount of time of a month or so. I've been to Hong Kong for I think it was 3 days.
Yeah.
I've been around the United States, been Oregon, been Texas, been Wyoming, I've been Cali, I've been to Florida. So far, my favorite was Oregon. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we stayed on the coast and it always rained, and I just kind of liked it, you know. But I've been to Oregon for a short period of time. But Japan, I've been in for probably the most time moving outside of Colorado because
Now,
yeah, because I was in Japan for about 2 weeks and then about 2 weeks again.
why did he go to Japan, man? Just
Um,
sightseeing?
well, yes and no. First in high school, I was a huge fan of Japanese culture, and this is actually when I went. So, I took Japanese one, then I took Japanese two and failed Japanese two, and retook Japanese one, and then went. So I went as a junior, so 11th grade. That was really fun. I went with a lot of friends at the time. Really, just really fun trip. Really great. Got lost multiple times. I went there for the culture. I went there to sightsee. I went there for the anime and the big titties. No Japanese woman has big titties, by the way.
Yeah, I know this.
Yeah, no, none of them do. None in real life have real big titties, unless of course they have mixed with somebody who's white, and that's pretty much it. I've never seen a Latino Japanese individual, so I don't get to say. But like the only women with a sizable rack and a big ass in Japan are the ones that either have had work done or or then one of their parents is probably white. But anyway, I digress. Like I went there for a bunch of stuff. I spoke very little Japanese. You know, I enjoyed it. You know,
Yeah.
the one thing that I can firmly say is I would never live there. If I was given the option, I would rather just visit. I do not like the I didn't do not like the culture as much as it is portrayed in media and the like media anime stuff like that, which anime is technically media, but you know,
Yeah.
like it's portrayed as much. I wouldn't say it's much different, but you don't really get a realization of it until you're there.
Yeah, to me, they've always seemed kind of like most of them have a pretty big stick jammed up their ass, but that's
I
just
wouldn't
me.
say that. I would say that most of them are it's very conform culture.
Yeah,
If you don't conform, then like you're pretty much like they say you're pretty much gonna fail. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah.
And that's where I didn't like it, like the school uniforms have to be set a certain way, which I get that, but like even then it's not even for things like private schools, it's for things like public schools too.
Really, it's public schools.
Yeah, public schools have their own uniform as well.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, like I don't, and like media for like people like social, right? So like social
Yeah,
media like Facebook, because like when I went over there, it was back in 2014, 2015. Like social media was a big, huge like difference than like how you would actually think it. Like you're not like supposed to usually like when you're in school, you're not supposed to post yourself outside of like outside of your school uniform when you're like still in school, unless it's like summer vacation or like some vacation, like there's a lot of restrictions that schools bring down, and there's like pretty harsh punishments to them as well. Like mind you, the schools that I got to visit a public school and a private school my first time around, and my second time around I went to the same private school, which was kind of fun because I'm a dude who's preference to Japanese/Asian women in general, and the private school was actually the Nagasaki Girls High School. um, so unlike the
got
United
the perfect pickup line. Go up to him and be like, "Hey, baby, you want to see Fat Man, or was it Little Boy that fucking dropped
Oh,
on that?"
that's fucked up. I've actually been to the Nagasaki Bomb Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the very few times I've like sat there and just like contemplated what the fuck. And maybe like that has actually helped me influence, because if you know anything about like how those were dropped, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it was dropped to detonate in air, and a lot of people like, oh, they did it so it didn't irradiate. It's like, no, they did it because that would cause way more fucking damage.
Well, it costs way more damage. It wouldn't cause as much of a radiation impact on Earth. But the reason why Americans dropped the bombs was because whoever was the president at the time, I don't remember. Motherfucker committed the war crime though. Um it was to reduce American casualties because he firmly believed that the Japanese would never give up.
You know what's more, which I don't know if you knew this. We learned it in Russia. They thought about dropping it on Germany, but the reason they
Yep.
didn't is it would be too many civilian casualties, and it's like,
Ironic.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
which
you learn some really gruesome things about the Nagasaki bomb. Like through the Nagasaki Bomb Museum, you learn some really gruesome things, like how
which is
life
why I
was
love being
afterwards, and like
Russian.
like
No
what
war crime.
that's a lie, and we both know it. But anyway, but like you learned a lot of things, like the radiation impact on people and stuff like that, and how brutal it was, and like you learned about a monk who was affected by radiation and was like sending out letters until like the day he like just succumbed to the radiation. That was really brutal, and you see like pictures of like what he who he was, and like what he was by the time of his death and stuff like that. And it's a very brutal thing to watch. Like for you, you'd probably joke through the entire thing, but that's just because military personnel are pretty fucked.
No, you see, I can joke whenever I'm not seeing it, but whenever I see it, it's like, oh God.
Okay. Yeah, see, like that's the thing. Like it I've seen, like I've stayed with host families. They're very interesting. Like the people in Japan are definitely different than like you and I. I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I'm not saying that is a good thing either. I love the anime over there though. It's a huge, huge culture. It's a
So
huge part
since
of
you
their
like
culture.
Japan history and anime, I mean, I guess you've seen that. What's that movie about the new? Hold up. Grave of the Fireflies. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
come on, man. Yes. Yes,
Yes,
I
I've
have.
seen that, and that movie was one of those
Mm,
that at the beginning I'm like, this movie's not so, and then at the end I'm like, well,
guess I'll just
that's
kill
fuck.
myself.
Yeah,
Um, oh, I've seen it twice, and that's all the times I want to see it in my life.
I have seen it once, and again, my sister's way more into anime than me. She's like, "Watch this with me." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." At the
I
beginning, I'm like, "This movie's fucking stupid," and at the end, I'm like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom and cry," and hopefully, the shower curtain will hold up. Won't hold up 140 pounds.
Yeah, no, Grave of the Fireflies is brutal. For anybody who doesn't know and watches the podcast, check out Grave of the Fireflies. It's not really, it's done in anime style, but it's not like an anime. It
Yeah,
is,
it's definitely
it's a
not a.
very, it is not a kids movie either. Do not show it to your children. Um,
It's a very happy, sappy movie. Now that's a lie. It is.
it
It
is
is
one of
very
the
depressing.
saddest movies that actually gives you a huge insight on Japan during World War II, like civilian areas during World War II.
Oh yeah, that movie's
Because
now for
you
me at least. That movie fucking. As someone who I guess doesn't have to worry, oh my government did that. I would again at the beginning I was like, oh, this movie's not that sad, and then at the end I'm like, Jesus Christ.
yeah, that entire movie is starts out, you're just like, okay, this is kind of okay,
But with
and
the
then but the more it develops, the more just and
and
I'm
not
not.
to give anything away for people who haven't seen it, but that movie is like the definition of kicking people whenever they are down.
Yes, it is most literally the definition of kicking people when they are down. um God, that is one of the saddest movies I can think of off the top of my head. Like I know some
See,
sad animes and stuff like that, but like as a movie, as a production, and as a story, it is a very sad one.
again, I watch anime with my sister, and that those things are it's like country music. It's either super happy, yay, or it's like this is probably
My
gonna make
wife
you want to
just
shit
cheated on me,
yourself.
and my wife just cheated on me with the dog kind of shit.
Oh
Um,
geez. Now for me, I've been to the Caucasus Mountains and
yeah,
Sofia, the Bulgarian capital, to the embassy.
okay,
And Bulgaria, that's a country I fucking love.
really
Yeah, it's fucking a real pretty country. The people are some of the fucking nicest ever.
nice.
And I've never been to the Ukraine. Well, actually, so funny
You've never
story.
allegedly been to Ukraine.
Funny story. I was actually gonna get to visit the Ukraine, but they did not like my jokes of when they were like, "Oh yeah, what are you traveling for?" My response was the Russian word for occupying, and they immediately said, "No, turn around, go away."
I wonder why. I wonder why.
I mean, I don't know. I thought they'd think it was funny, but apparently not.
Nobody thinks that funny except for us.
People I was in the car with didn't think it was funny because
Yeah, they had to bring you back.
no, actually, it's because none of us got to go, or else they would have just dropped my ass off
Oh,
and
I
been like,
know. Oh, I know. I know. That's why I was just like, because they had to drive you back, meaning that they had to come with you.
"Yep."
Yeah, nobody thought that that was funny. That's fucked, bro. I wonder why you're not allowed in Ukraine, huh?
It's not like they fucking banned me permanently. I could probably go back. I mean,
They're just like, oh, it's that one-eyed bastard. Don't let him in.
it's that one-eyed bastard. It's the pirate Russian.
He's trying to occupy again.
So, that pickup line I told you about dropping the bomb. I had a friend, he was always trying to hit on people. We were at a
Okay.
ball, and
Okay.
this girl's like, hey, yeah, I'm from the Ukraine. To which he said, I wonder if Russia will get to invade Ukraine's back door.
Oh, oh no. No. Well, did he get her?
He got hit by her and then left.
Well, it was a valiant effort. Dude, I have to say, like, as fucked up as both of the nuclear weapons are, like, I think some of my favorite thing is like, I don't know if you have TikTok, but like people who make TikToks on it, like, it's like Germany surrendering, and like everybody's just like, "Where's America?" And it says America. It's like a B-52 bomber. It's just like, "Here comes the sun."
So, no, I don't. And so the reason for that is, if you know anything about me, I'm fucking paranoid. So when they're like, "Oh, the Chinese can see," I'm like, "Nope, America's got my information.
Bro,
Russia and Bulgaria do. I'm not adding China to that fucking list."
that's fair. I'm like, fuck it. I already have Facebook. The Chinese know who I am.
See, I actually don't have a Facebook. So fun fact, Twitter was my false social media account.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So no, that's a lie. I had VK, but a friend made it for me. He's like, "You can, talk to other people," and I literally signed into it once and did nothing and left.
Well, here's the problem. So Discord's about to get bought by Microsoft. Um,
Oh Jesus.
yeah, yeah. I can't make any more edgy memes without saying "in Minecraft" on Twitter anymore. I'm sorry, on Discord anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Minecraft really doesn't like that shit flying in their Christian Minecraft solvers.
I'm gonna go kill ATF agents in Minecraft.
I'm
Um
gonna go kill. I still say that if there's ever gun confiscation and the ATF shows up, since I eat snake, I should just fill up the gun cases with fucking rattlesnakes and be like, "Here you go."
no, the ATF ever rates me. It's just like once they break my plates, I'm switching out for Tannerite.
So I'm paranoid as shit. And here's a
Yeah, I
trick
know.
they did in the mountain. So people would put fucking, a jerry rig form of tannerite and rocks in the fucking doors.
Oh my god.
So if you fucking shot that thing or fucking gave it a good kick, the shit would blow up. And well, not necessarily a kick, but you know what I'm saying. If you fucking
Yeah.
hit that thing, it it was not fucking pretty. It was not good.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
I like the memes of the ATF agent with the stuffed dog filled with tannerite.
I saw a meme and it was just like some dude. It's just like the ATF coming to kick in my door. The dude picks up like a fucking thing of tannerite, a little dog, and you know the joke of the Claymore Roomba, right?
Yeah.
He puts it on the Roomba.
The sad thing about me is I know the American government has my information because I would love a no knock raid of, "Oh, this guy's just a gunsmith."
How pro Second Amendment are you? Grenades.
How pro Second Amendment are you? Well, the Bubba fucking SKS Tommy gun thing.
Stop. You know
I
what?
mean, the fuck.
You know what? Fuck you. Bullpups your MP5.
You know what I've seen? There was a fucking abomination, that fucking bullpup Mosin I sent you.
Have I ever sent you the pic where it's just like fuck you, unbullpups your og?
Yeah, that thing actually looks pretty cool though, but that's because bullpups. Now
Right.
we had I think we've got some bullpups, like the KSVK, but for the
You have
most part,
the Ash 12 and the Groza.
oh dude, the fucking Ash 12, we've got to test them. That thing, it's kind of a piece of shit because you
Yeah,
hold limited rounds, but with what you're shooting, you don't need a lot.
I mean it's basically bulky 50 Beowulf.
Basically, yeah. But you see, so for us at least, bullpups kind of go against our doctrine because we were told
Yeah,
you do not stop aiming at them
you
unless they are
told me
fucking
about
dead.
that. Yep. We talked about this in the I believe we talked about this in the Swiss Cheese podcast.
Yeah. So, to me, bullpups, I don't like them. I don't. I get the purpose, and I think they're great for vehicle crews. That's it.
Okay, that's fair.
Now, if you, and
Imagine some
I guess,
asshats jumping out of a tank with Ash 12s.
oh, God, imagine it with, so you know what the KS-23 is, right? The Russian fall gauge.
Uh, yeah, yeah. The KS-23. That's not a bullpup. That's a shotgun, isn't it?
No, get this. Get how painful this is. Some dumbass just, now technically to us that is a carbine because it does not shoot, shot. It shoots a slug.
Or flashbangs.
Yeah, it was made as a carbine. And do you know the story of the KS-23? It was literally anti-aircraft guns. They had
Wait,
cracks.
really?
Yeah, so if you look it up, it was a 12.7, I
So
believe, millimeter.
it is this defined as a special carbine. Yep.
Yeah, and so see, if you read the history on it, basically, old boy, somehow the making of it fucked up, and most of the barrels were cracked to hell. So he goes, let's cut them down and make shoulder-mounted gun. Look up the tanker variant
Can
that
we
has
just
a short.
I can't find a picture of that, but I'm like I forgot about the ammunition and how they have the Barracuda
Yeah,
cartridge, which is like literally just designed to destroy engine blocks.
yeah. So a KS-23 recoils like fuck. They
Yeah.
basically have one with the removable stock, and I think like a
Yep.
14-inch barrel. And
Uh, is that the KS-23M?
I believe so. It might be the end. A
Yeah,
fucking
the M is the one where it looks like it has a 12-inch barrel and no stock.
Okay. So there's one that has a detachable stock, like a shitty wire stock. And
Okay, I see it. I'm looking
I
at the picture
remember,
right now.
so, we find guns a lot, especially in the mountains that were Russian made, because they basically did what the Taliban did. They take all guns and shoot. We found some dude that had cut it down to literally the shortest. The pump pretty much touched the end of the barrel, and he had cut off the stock. The recoil on that thing had to be fucking immense.
Yeah, but imagine the guy on the other end of that.
Well, yeah, he's definitely gonna be fucking dead, but it doesn't matter how long that barrel is.
Dude, imagine one of those shots going through your leg.
I don't think I want to do
You know
I
what?
think,
That's a good response.
well, I'm already missing an eye. I don't need a fucking peg leg too.
You could be the true pirate gunsmith.
The true fire. Cut off a hand and get the fucking hook going.
Yeah, but with the amount of dumb shit you do already, that's already optional.
That I still say when shit hits the fan, I'm gonna get the 6 1911s I own and my dagger, and I'm gonna be known as the pirate Boomer Beard.
Dude, can we all
You need eight
while on the talk of shotguns, can we all just talk about what a piece of shit the SPAS 12 is and how overrated it is?
To be fair, I love it, but as a gunsmith, I love all guns. I remember I used to
I
think,
know.
oh, that's the dinosaur gun. And then I read up on it. I'm like, Jesus, I'm glad I never had one of those things.
Yeah, the dogs. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I love the SPAS 12. It's iconic to like video games because you know me. I'm an aspiring gunsmith, and
Yeah,
I want to put together, and like put together guns and all that. But like once I read up on the SPAS 12, I was just like, why the fuck is this even in a COD game?
yeah. To me, another gun that I think is overrated. Speaking of, man, if you want gunsmithing, you've got my number. I'll start giving you rudimentary classes if you want. I fucking
Oh,
loaned from my granddad.
cool.
But so another gun I love that's another one of those things is the jackhammer, where they're like,
Oh,
look at this cool. And then you read up, and
the
then you read up
Pancore
on it.
jackhammer is
And it's like,
awful.
yeah, to be fair, it's really not. I mean, I'd much rather use
Okay.
it as a club in combat than a shotgun.
Well, I mean, the
But
Pancore jackhammer is so cool, but it's god awful. Like
it's a gun that if I owned,
once you
I'd
run the
literally show people.
once
I'd
you
be like,
run
look.
yeah once you run the mag, you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, that's like, what's that gun every Call of Duty has had now? The fucking Striker, where they reload it in like 10 seconds. And it's like, no.
Well, they actually switched that in the new game. In Cold War, they actually made it so it takes like an eternity to load the entire thing.
That definitely makes sense. To me, the one American gun I always really fucking wanted, especially during my time, was the fucking AA-12. Because I was
Dude,
like,
you
oh,
want to know what's
clearing.
fucked up? You want to know what's really fucked up? Some company remade it and the ATF revoked it.
Yeah, I remember reading it. And you know why? It's because I think you're the one that showed me. But it was literally a pissing contest. So
Yeah.
they gave some dude permission to make it. He signed it over to a company and then decided, no, you can't have it anymore. And so it's actually not banned, but it is in limbo right now.
Yeah, we all know the ATF. It's going to perpetually stay in limbo.
Oh yeah, that's like, you know, I love the ATF because again, I'm not full anarchist, I'd say, but I love the idea of just fuck off the government, stop killing people.
Yeah.
But I love how the ATF, the CIA, and the FBI they do things that I can say, okay, that's whatever.
Mhm.
But the ATF is like, oh yeah, you can have this, and then the next day it's like, no, you're a felon if you have it, and we'll
Yeah.
shoot your dog and child.
Well, off the note of the ATF shooting dog and child, I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of conversation after this, but I don't think the viewers want to listen anymore. I'd like
Yeah,
to I would like to thank actually a couple people before we leave this podcast. Hopefully I don't take too long with this. I would like to thank anybody who decides to come in and listen to our first podcast and actually listens to the entire thing. Like, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We don't have like a
yeah,
Patreon or anything for you to donate to or anything yet. We're not big enough. No, we have that as a focus yet. But I would really like to thank Sapper underscore spy on Twitter. He did our icon for us. He technically, I think he was willing to do it for free. I ended up donating and paying to him. But like, thank you so much for doing our icon.
oh, it's
Really,
badass.
it's amazing. It is pristine. It is awesome. I
I
love
fucking
it.
made it my phone and laptop background.
Did
That thing's
you?
fucking awesome. Yeah, it's fucking
If,
awesome.
dude, I love it so much. It is amazing. Thank you so much for that. Again, thank you to everybody who listens. I know that Sapper Spy is going to listen to this. Hopefully, he listens to all of it so he gets to hear that. Um, check us out on Twitter. There should be a link on our, you can check us out through Anchor. There's going to be a link to the main Twitter page for this podcast, which also links both of our Twitters. So check us out on Twitter. Let us know what you think on our podcast Twitter, or even send it into our DMs. We don't really give a shit. If you have any ideas or you want to be on the show, let us know. We'll happily get you on here. And honestly, like personally, I hope you all have a great day and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, just thanks for listening. And if you've got any ideas on what you want us to talk about or what you want to hear more of, fucking the Twitter thing. Yeah.
Right. And off of that, thank you for tuning into the Icebox podcast. We hope you have a great day and we'll
All
catch you up,
night.
or night, and we'll catch you up next time.